Welcome, everybody. Want to thank everyone for being here. It's 6:30. We're going to kick off with our wellness workshop tonight. I want to thank everyone for being here. I'm Dr. Ryan Hyde. My wife and I, Dr. Haley, we own and operate Glacier Family Chiropractic and Wellness. Now, last week, I know Dr. Haley gave a great talk about what it takes to have a healthy nervous system, and she also gave us some real good, some breathing exercises, some really cool tips in order to help us maintain and prolong a nice and healthy nervous system. Next Tuesday at 6:30, she will be giving a class on gratitude. It's going to be phenomenal. I highly recommend being there and joining us on that one. However, today is my day. We're going to be talking about something very near and dear to my heart. 33 principles. Principles are a big thing for us in chiropractic. They are what ground us. This is going to be a big philosophy talk. Philosophy is very, very important. It's the why we do what we do. And if you can't be grounded in the why of what you do, you're not having a good foundation right there. So tonight's talk is going to be very philosophical. Yes, there are 33 principles of chiropractic. Unfortunately, due to time constraints tonight, we won't be going through all 33. We're just going to be going through an easy 2. They are 2 of my favorite of all times. They're very, very good, and they do take some time to reflect on and really dive in deep to. So, without further doubt, let's dive right into it. The first principle we're actually going to be talking about is, like I said, one of my favorite ones. It is number 1, the major premise. The way our principles work is we take from a very, very big picture and we start working down and working down and working down until we get to the very specific. Sometimes even from the whole down to a very, very specific part. So I thought it'd be very advantageous of us if we could all start with number 1. So, number 1, the major premise is defined as a universal intelligence that is in all matter and continually gives to it all its properties and actions, thus maintaining it in existence. Now, I know that sounds like word soup. That sounds like a lot to take in right there. So anytime, you're reading through some of these philosophical things and they're kind of brain busters, break it down, all right? You break it down step by step, piece by piece. So that's what we're going to do right here, okay? So that first part right there, we get a universal intelligence, right? What does any of this mean? Well, universal intelligence is basically the infinite intelligence that is the source of everything in the universe. Now, this isn't meant to be a spiritual talk or a religious talk. I think we all can agree, though, regardless of our beliefs and our backgrounds, something superiorly intelligent created everything that's around us, right? I mean, I can look to my left, I look to my right. The things that are around me are so incomprehensible that something so vastly intelligent and superior had to have been able to come up with that idea, right? So an infinite intelligence that is the source of everything in the universe. Now, the book that I'm reading from right here is called The Chiropractic Textbook by Ralph Stevenson. Funny fact, actually, they used to use this book as the chiropractic textbook when the first chiropractic school was being opened and chiropractic was being taught. It's not in use anymore today. Now today we use it more for philosophically getting back to our roots of chiropractic, grounding ourselves back to our true why we're doing what we're doing. So the definitions that I'll be reading are Stevenson's, and some of them are from Webster, but I will always let you guys know. So another definition of universal intelligence from Stevenson, and I prefer this one a little bit more. It reads, the infinite intelligence pervading all space and matter, which creates and governs all things, both material and immaterial, both organic and inorganic, right? So we're talking from everything down from the most advanced humans, animals, breathing down to a tiny, tiny little atom, right? That is all under that universal intelligence, okay? It created everything and must have been first and then definitely superior in order to do it. I mean, I, again, feel like that goes without saying. You look around you, it's awe-inspiring to see the things around you because of what this universal intelligence is able to do. It must have been and is very intelligent. Having these virtues, it must have never made a mistake, therefore is always right. The very intelligent. Again, you can't look anywhere and not be in awe of what is created in front of us. It is insane. Being infinite, it's hard for us humans to grasp. We're not fully meant to grasp that kind of indefinite, infinity. It's hard for us to fathom. You can't define it. One can get only a finite idea from it because of our own limitations to be able to perceive that. Again, this universal intelligence is all powerful, all knowing. We are the ones that have the limitations because of our matter. We're not able to perceive certain things, okay? We are not that intelligent yet. Now, this intelligence is not limited. It is we who are the ones that are limited within our perception. Now, we go back to the definition of universal intelligence. A universal intelligence is in all matter. Okay, so we got universal intelligence. It is that awe-inspiring, all-knowing everything, right? We hit the matter. That's that both material, immaterial, the organic, the inorganic, right? Now, what's so cool about this main principle right here is the fact that it is our founding principle. I know I said it in the beginning. All the principles that follow after this will all fit within that major premise. There is not one principle that breaks that definition of the first principle. Now, I could sit here and go on and on and on and on about universal intelligence, innate intelligence, matter, the major premise, but I don't want to bore everyone too much. Unfortunately, we can't do all 33 tonight. It's just not going to happen. I could sit up here and run my suck for hours and hours and hours talking about these principles. What I want to jump into next right now is one of my favorite ones, and it's really going to help us connect it back to chiropractic and why these principles are so important for chiropractic, okay? The next one we're going to talk about is, drum roll, number 17, cause and effect. Again, this is one of my favorite ones as well. Due to the fact, again, it's always present. It's always there. No matter what you do, there's going to be an effect, all right? So, what is a cause, all right? A cause is a catalyst or a source or an action that brings about a reaction. So, you do something, and then something happens. The thing you did itself is that cause. Excuse me. Now, the effect is an occurrence, ramification, or result generated by one or more causes. Now, these effects are the outcome. So, you do something, here's the cause. Whatever happens, that is the effect of that cause. Okay? So, the cause is the why something happens, where the effect is what happened. So, again, how does this relate to chiropractic? One of my personal favorite stories to use as an example of cause and effect and kind of break the simplicity of chiropractic to people is, I call it the fire story, okay? So, take a moment with me. We're going to pretend that we're in bed, we're, deep, deep asleep. It's the middle of the night. 12, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. The fire alarm, it's going. What do we do? Right? Common sense, we get up, we go to the fire alarm, we turn it off. Now, what do we do? And this is where I get a lot of my patients. Does it make sense to turn that fire alarm off, go back to bed? Everything's good, no worries. I'd be a little shocked if that was your move to make after you abruptly get jolted out of the sleep. The fire alarm's blaring. You finally turn it off and you're able to just pass back out like that. To me, that sounds crazy. Most people, I would assume, would turn the alarm off and then instantly go look for the fire, right? Obviously, the alarm's going off. There's got to be smoke. Maybe there's fire. There's something going on in the house that we need to check out. We need to get fixed, right? We're not just going to go back to sleep. And this is how I cross it over with chiropractic. So we're going to work backwards. The fire. There's obviously a fire somewhere in the house. That's the effect. Now, what was the cause? What caused that fire, right? The alarm, let's think of the alarm as pain. The effect is low back pain. So you're having low back pain, right? The fire alarm is that pain. Does it make sense to, just dull the pain? So whether that be, over-the-counter prescriptions or, opioids or whatever it is, prescription medication. You turn that pain off, right? That pain gets turned off. You're happy. You feel good, right? But wait, what caused that pain in the first place? We don't know. You stopped right at the pain. You got the effect and stopped right there. We need to reverse engineer this. Okay, so your effect, we have that low back pain, right? Well, that pain is letting us know that something is going on somewhere else in the body. We're, as chiropractors, we hunt for that cause. Majority of the time, if not every time, it's neurological causes. The brain to body connection is not fully there. That's why we are so dead set on trying to find the cause of that low back pain. We're not worried about your pain. We're worried about what's causing it. Yes, chiropractic care is going to help you get out of that pain. 100%. There's no question about that. But being out of that pain is not the end result. It's going to come back. It's going to come back. If you don't address the cause, that effect will always continue to come back. Always. And that's where, as chiropractors, we go to the philosophy. It instills the why for us in order for us to help you find the cause of your effects, your symptoms, your pain. So that is one of the biggest stories I like to explain to patients as far as a cause and effect scenario, right? It just doesn't make sense to wake up and go back to sleep when there's a fire in the house. It doesn't make sense to be in pain, popping medication, but doing nothing else about it, okay? So a little cause and effect story, personal story of my own. It's actually my chiropractic story. I myself have been under consistent chiropractic care since probably the age 6 or 7 years old. And it was because I was playing football. I was having some issues, getting up and down out of my stances. I had always, from a young age, tried not to use too much medication or to, go over and beyond. I always liked more holistic things, less invasive type things. So when my mother decided, okay, enough was enough, we need to get something done about my son's low back pain, right? She took me to a chiropractor. Whew, boy, I tell you, I still to this day remember the chiropractor that I had seen when I was a kid practices very much like Dr. Haley and myself practice. So you come in, you do a health history exam, you do some x-rays, some orthopedic exams, some range of motion, and then they get you rescheduled. There's no adjusting the first day. They don't do anything. I remember leaving his office, bawling my eyes out. Mom, he didn't help me at all. He didn't do anything. Because he wanted to truly know what my cause was. He needed to go back and look over everything that I had just presented to him. And now looking back, I'm so glad he just didn't make a snap decision and start adjusting things. I love the fact that he was able to take his time. He sat back. Now, granted, I was able to get in the next day, but that's usually all we need. Just a little bit of time so we can delineate and see very specifically what your cause is. So I'm all mad and I'm not too happy. I thought he was going to make me feel better, yada, yada, yada. Young kid, don't know what I'm talking about. We go back the next day. Okay. He goes over everything with me. He shows me my x-rays. I had bad asthma at the time. My hips were unaligned. For 7 years old, it just wasn't normal. It wasn't anything normal. So we had to, fix that. So I remember he goes through everything with me. He gets me on the table. And for those of you that know side posture, where you're kind of laying on your side, he put me in this pretzel move. And boy, did I hear one of the biggest pops, cavitations, Rice Krispies, whatever you want to call it, still of my life. Every adjustment is not going to be instant. Some take time to let them sink in. Some are instant. Some take minutes. Some take hours. My personal story was instantaneous. The way my pain evaporated, I could get up and down with no problem. It was mind-blowing to me. It was unfathomable that you could do, and everything was gone to me. Everything. Now, to bring it back to cause and effect, the reason he was my mentor, we saw him, that chiropractor, for so long, was because he found my cause. He did not just adjust my effects, my pain, my low back. No, he found the cause to be that my hips were 2 inches unbalanced. That was what was causing my pain. He didn't just say, "Hey, Ryan, here you go. Here's some Tylenol. Take this 3 times a day, and I don't know. We'll see how things go." Well, I can tell you how things were going to go. Nothing is going to change. Nothing would have changed. The fact was, the matter was that he took the time. He didn't want to adjust right away because he wanted to find out what my cause was. And that's what we are talking about here tonight. That cause and effect, right? Some people get upset. Well, I want to just get cracked and popped. Unfortunately, that's not the right way to go about things. That's not addressing the cause of your pain, of your discomfort, of your tension. Would you not rather, instead of taking a Tylenol, once every other day, wouldn't you rather just not have to take it at all because of the fact that you've addressed that your hips were unaligned? Maybe you had an extra vertebra somewhere. Maybe this bone was pinching on that nerve right there. What was the cause of your symptoms, of your pain? And that really is, I love these principles because it breaks everything down for us of why we do what we do, right? It's as simple as you see a plant. A plant begins to grow, right? It grows because that sunlight was hitting it. The effect of that sunlight caused the plant to grow. And it's just vitally, vitally important. And that's how we relate it back to the major premise, right? A universal intelligence. It's in all things, all matter, and continually giving to it its properties and actions, right? The effect of the sun beaming down on that plant causes the plant to grow. You can't have one without the other. The moon's gravitational pull causes the tides, the effect. It's just like you don't do your stretches, the exercises that Dr. Haley and I recommend. You're not going to start feeling better. The cause of you not doing the stretches is going to affect how much pain and tension you still deal with, right? So we're coming to the close here of our second wellness workshop. I know it was a quick time right there. I could sit here for hours and hours and hours and just go on and on and on about the 33 principles. Later on in the year, I'm going to be revisiting those principles. We're going to dive deeper into some of the other ones, some of my favorite other ones. But before I let everyone go here, I want to challenge you guys, right? So we talked about some pretty heavy, hard-hitting things tonight. Excuse me. Major premise, causes and effect, chiropractic, fires, alarms, turning pain off, but not getting to the cause, a lot of stuff here. I just want to challenge everyone on the line here for two different things. See where the major premise plays a role in your life. I know probably most of you have never even thought about a universal intelligence that affects everything. The rest of this week, I challenge you. Go for a walk. Go for a drive. Take a step back. See the immense beauty that has been created for you by this universal intelligence, regardless of your beliefs, religion-wise, spiritually, whatever it may be. I think we can still all agree on the fact that there is some type of superior, all-knowing, superior intelligent thing there, right? So I challenge you to do that. Take a look around you. Experience the beauty and natural of this universal intelligence. And then the second thing I want to challenge everyone is with some of the things that you may or may not be doing and how it's affecting you. Not only how it affects you now, but how it can affect you tomorrow, next week, 3 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now. It all starts now. The things we are able to do today are what are going to help us in the future, right? The small, tedious little thing that we do today could be what sets us up for the absolute, gigantic, huge success in 10 years. You never know how small something you do now can have a monumental result. All right? So I challenge you guys, look for the major premise. Look for universal intelligence this week. Look to see what you are doing that is causing this. What effect have you been doing that is causing this? Or what are you doing that you're not getting the outcome for that you want, right? So think about this over the week. I want to thank everyone for jumping on the line tonight. I see a lot of people on here. That's awesome. I'm so loving and appreciative of all you jumping on tonight. Don't forget, next week, Dr. Haley will be talking about gratitude. It's going to be a fire talk tomorrow night. I know she's already been talking to me about it and getting things going. So I look really forward to seeing you all next Tuesday at 6:30, same time, same place. I hope all of you have a wonderful night. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, feel free to leave them. Drop a link below and check out our YouTube page. Other than that, have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you next week.